You're listening to the RM Podcast, the official podcast of Red Moon Productions. Here are your hosts, Brandon Davidson, Keith Cheatham, and Sean Sebastian. Enjoy.
Episode of the Red Moon Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Brandon Davidson, alongside our normal new host,
Sean Sebastian.
And Keith Cheatham. That's right, Mr. Cheatham, Mr. Sebastian, and Mr. Davidson. We are all back for another fantastic week here.
Son of David.
256 episodes, guys.
Son of Jarrell.
256.
Can you believe it?
Yeah.
I'm fading between our faces now.
I'm thinking about it.
It's been a milestone.
I can't hear anything.
Why?
I don't know. I can't hear anything.
Your mic's...
Oh, man.
Well, in 256 episodes of technical difficulties.
Failures.
It's what we're good at here on the Red Moon Podcast.
Wow. The Red Moon Podcast.
No, I do have to start off with some
gain a little bit.
bittersweet news. You all have known this, and a lot of my close friends and family know this.
Sadness.
And a lot of people, hopefully, that are even watching tonight know.
Are you coming out?
No, I'm not coming out. Hey, I set it up for that.
No. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I love it.
Continue coming out.
Okay, so yeah, it's been about 29. No, I'm just kidding. No, I today was my last day at my former employer. Now I can say that WHAS. So for all my friends, and I would even call them some family there that I worked with for the last 5 years, just want to give a shout out to everybody there who may either be tuning in or who supported me and were just great people to work for and work with. And I just enjoyed my time there all 5 years. And honestly, I got to say, it's a little bittersweet. I know things are going to end up being a blessing after all is said and done. But I'm moving on to hopefully bigger and better things. Got a little bit of more time to spend with our podcast, making it bigger and better.
Oh my goodness!
We're almost approaching we're about 2 weeks away.
2 weeks away.
Kind of more like 4 weeks away, but because the Oscars were pushed up, I'm pushing up our date.
Oh, okay.
But we're coming up almost on a full year live doing this show.
Yeah.
Here on YouTube and Facebook. Red Moon Productions.
Yeah.
Look us up at Red Moon Book
And
on
we're
Facebook.
hoping,
all of our social.
we're going to hit that year of live, but we're hoping to bring even bigger and better things in the future. I mean,
yes, absolutely.
We website.
We made that. Yeah, a website would be fantastic. A website is, I think probably the most promised thing that will never happen one day. Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
But I mean,
it's
hopefully,
just a running joke now.
I'm not gonna say anything anymore.
We've gone live. Hopefully, we'll get that website. Maybe one day another audio drama. Who knows? We'll see.
I think 2020 is going to be a big year.
It's going to be a good year.
It's going to be a good
We keep teasing things, but I think I feel it in my bones.
Yeah.
Feel it in your bones.
Yeah. There's a storm coming, Annie. I feel it in my bones.
It's called the next election.
Whoa.
That's
Wait, no, you said
coming.
a storm is coming. Wait, I don't have it on there yet,
What?
do I? On the soundboard?
No, you don't have. No,
I
you
don't
don't
have it, do I?
There's no storms.
No storms.
I was thinking it's
something
working.
You need something from Twister, though.
I mean, the closest
what?
thing you've got to a disaster is Jaws.
Like, okay.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Like that
Yeah.
doesn't fit. It doesn't fit.
What
No.
could we have from Twister, though?
That's a good
Finger of
wonderful-
God.
no.
F5, finger
There
of
was
God.
an evil Bill, and I killed him. There's a lot of better ones. So many better ones from Twister.
Yep.
Cow. Oh, there's another cow. That's a good one. What's another one? There's so. You're looking at me like you don't have a clue.
I'm just trying to see what you'll come up with.
I like it when she says, "You see my cows out front," and they're
And
like,
she goes,
"No," and he goes, "Oh, because you're eating one."
It's terrible.
You kill your own cows. Huh.
It's like it's a terrible movie.
That
I
was
kill my
Anthony
own
Seymour
cows.
Hopkins. That's his name, right?
no, Anthony
What was
Seymour
that?
Hopkins.
Philip Seymour Hopkins.
Philip
Hopkins.
Seymour
Yeah, that
Hopkins.
was like one of his worst movies.
No,
He's
that's
fantastic.
it. The suck zone.
The suck
Yeah.
zone.
That's it.
It's like,
He was
how did you
great.
get that guy
Yep.
to play that?
That was
part?
like one of his first roles.
Yeah.
That's why he was willing to take anything at that point in time.
It's like,
I mean,
just give me
Really?
something
Yeah.
juicy. Yeah, he wasn't
he
a
had done.
big name
He
back
did Boogie
then.
Nights before that,
But he wasn't a big name in
I
Boogie
was gonna
Nights
say,
either.
Oh man,
I mean, he was just
Yeah.
trying to make a name for himself.
He
And
didn't
then
really.
when he's like
he didn't
blaring
really-
out Van Halen chasing down tornadoes.
I want to say like early 2000s is when he finally started breaking into like actual like Academy type
Yeah.
stuff. So
Okay.
And
Yeah.
but I no,
may
absolutely.
he rest in peace.
Yes.
A fantastic actor,
Yeah.
and we've got a fantastic film review.
We do.
A little
It's-
obscure
man.
for some of our viewers out there who probably wouldn't expect.
I mean,
us.
I wouldn't call it obscure in the sense
True.
that it is a title that every generation, especially of
Yeah.
women, know.
Yeah.
But it is, probably one that people might have thought we were going to gloss over. But with the fact that we only had 2 movies nominated for Best Picture without official reviews, and we have 2 weeks left to the Oscars, I was just like, let's do this thing. So here's our review of Little Women. There are stories that are generational, tales that are told and retold over and over. Last year's Oscars saw the nomination of one such story, A Star is Born. This year has another such tale, one that has had a massive amount of adaptations across multiple mediums, Little Women. For those unfamiliar, Little Women is a novel written in 2 parts, released in 1886 and 1889, respectively, by author Louisa May Alcott. It is a fictionalized tale of Alcott's life growing up and coming of age with her sisters, and was a massive hit to say the least. It has connected with audiences, especially young women, for generations, and Greta Gerwig's latest film adaptation of the novel shows us exactly why. The story may take place during the Civil War, when Alcott grew up, but its characters and their lives and problems transcend time. It's a coming-of-age story all women can relate to for sure, but one that anybody, male or female, can too. Starring Saoirse Ronan as Jo March, the character based around Alcott herself, Emma Watson as Meg March, Florence Pugh as Amy March, and Laura Dern as matriarch Marmee, surrounded by a heavy-hitting supporting cast like Timothée Chalamet, Meryl Streep, Chris Cooper, and Bob Odenkirk, the film does not lack for talent, and the talent in each cast member shows. It is no little wonder as to why Little Women hasn't received more Oscar nominations for acting than it already has. The cast, with an impeccable screenplay adapted by director Greta Gerwig from Alcott's novel, and direction from Gerwig, bring each character to life in a way that feels authentic to the period they are living in, yet are massively relatable with character traits, quirks, and problems that any time period can appreciate. In fact, the biggest thing this adaptation has going for it is the film's authenticity, alongside the emotion and heart the story is known for. For the first time on screen, I actually feel as if the events I saw were happening during the 1800s, as opposed to actors pretending to be people in the 1800s. Other adaptations are still great films, but feel like products of their era. Greta Gerwig's film, however, feels timeless. The movie also sets itself apart from its predecessors by not adapting the novel linearly. Instead of telling the events of the Marches' lives from youth to adulthood, the movie starts halfway through the novel and flashes back to the events of the character's childhood. This has 2 effects. One, it sets the film apart, as mentioned, but it also serves to showcase the story's themes in a new light. By taking plot threads from the first part of the book and pairing them with follow-up threads from the last half, we see the cause and effects of the character's choices in life much sooner, giving each one a different impact. It's the same story, but one told through a new lens, a testament to Gerwig's love of the source material and abilities as a storyteller. All in all, the story of Little Women still may not be for everyone. Though its themes and characters are still relevant as ever, it's a timeless story about life, human nature, and Little Women. I give Little Women 3.5 out of 4 stars. Well, there you have it, 3.5 for Little Women.
That's right. Tiny. What was it? We posted on our Instagram.
Tiny ladies.
Tiny ladies.
Tiny ladies.
And then there was
small
another
females.
one. I think that was it.
Small females.
females.
I think it was I
Small.
thought any number of ways
I have
you
a
could say
I have
that.
a funny story. I was hoping our buddy Neil in Boston. I don't think he's watching right now, which saddens me. But I'm going to embarrass him a little bit because when he came down to visit over the holidays, he was telling me a story about how while he was at his in-laws for Christmas,
Yeah.
like apparently he had read an article about Little Women and seen the name Greta Gerwig, but he doesn't really he didn't he didn't know who Greta Gerwig was, like as far as the woman who made Lady Bird. He thought he confused the two with Greta Thunberg.
Oh.
So he was telling his in-laws that Greta
Yeah.
Thunberg made Little Women,
Directed it.
and they were like, "What? No, she didn't." And apparently, I mean, I think he actually had them going for a little bit before they all realized he was mistaken. That.
Oh.
But,
But-
I mean,
but-
It's
and
just
that's-
another thing she's not qualified for.
Yeah. But I just think it's funny that it's like,
it's like
that's
Greta
the,
Thunberg.
that's the best way to pull it off is
Oh,
like when
yeah.
you
Oh.
believe the story yourself.
yeah,
And it's
Yeah.
just like he was hook, line, and
No,
sinker
he,
in.
he texted us or something
Yeah,
about
he
it.
didn't know who Greta. He knew like she
Yeah.
had been in the media for like climate change and that, but he didn't really
Yeah,
know who she
he
was.
said, like, I didn't know Greta Thunberg directed that. And
Little
I'm
Women.
just
Yeah.
like, it's Greta Gerwig.
yeah,
No, look,
And I'm like,
if she
Thunberg's
dir-
the little
if,
climate
if
change girl.
Thunberg
Yeah.
directed this, it's like holy crap.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
She's got a future.
She-
Okay, she's
yeah. She
and
just
I-
shut
we
up
have
on
to
climate
get this
change.
done
and-
in 12
Actually-
years because the world will end before that.
I mean, it's perfect though because she's already got the soapbox. So then she starts making movies. Hollywood is going to
Oh,
adopt her as
they'll
one of their
eat
own
her up.
immediately.
No doubt. Well, that's the thing. I honestly, she needs to get with Michael Moore and just tell him how to make documentaries again.
Somebody
It's
needs
like-
to tell him how to make documentaries because,
Yeah.
whoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's switch
Little-
gears about
Little
Little
Women.
Women. 3.5 out of 4
I actually
stars.
really enjoyed this, and it's not particular. Like Little Women's not particularly like a story that I have any attachment to. Like it's definitely something my sister would. And I remember her and my mom watching Little Women when I was little in the '90s version, which I remember vaguely. But I mean, I never, especially as a little boy, I didn't give a crap about Little Women. In fact, one of the only reasons I kind of gave this one a chance was just because Greta Gerwig, who made
Yeah.
Lady Bird,
which was a
I love.
phenomenal film.
But I did watch this, and it did resonate with me actually a lot. Even despite the fact it being about a bunch of women, it does have themes that are just universal.
Yeah.
And I mean, I did read into. I know it's based on the novel, which was like published in 2 parts, and this movie, rather than tell the story linearly like every other adaptation does,
Yes.
actually jumps back and forth from the future scenes to the past scenes. So rather than watch them grow up entirely, it kind of starts in the middle with like them finding out that Beth's sick as adults, and then jumps back to like them growing up and back and forth. And I actually really enjoyed that because it just kind of gives it a unique lens, and the fact
Right,
that
not like all the other ones.
yeah,
Yeah,
it makes it unique. It actually helps emphasize like the decisions they make as kids, and then you see like kind of ramifications of that
impact.
as adults.
Yeah.
You see that, and then the impact like side by side.
Right.
So it's a nice way to kind of put a new light on those moments to bring them to light in a way that
So
others
here's the
might
thing,
miss.
though. This continues your trend of all the Best Picture noms this year
Mhm.
having fallen into the 3.5, 4
Or
star
higher.
yeah, 3.5,
Well,
4 star
except,
category.
except Ford v Ferrari. bless
Well,
its heart.
true.
Which I mean,
3
I
out of
like.
4.
To be fair, I like
Yeah.
Ford v Ferrari. I just feel like it is the weakest so far. So
Yeah.
Agreed. But then, with that being the case, would you say? I mean, with this being 3.5 and so many others of our Best Picture noms, where would you kind of rank this right now in your pick of Best Picture this year? Because now you've seen all the Best Picture noms.
Mhm.
We've got our review
I mean, I
of
haven't
Parasite,
reviewed Parasite yet, but I've
but
seen
that's
them all.
coming next week. That's our last Best Picture review. So where would you
What
rank?
are there 9 of them? Oh man.
Yeah.
I mean, I would still put 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Joker as like
At
the top 3.
three, yeah.
Yes. Agreed.
And I gotta look up. Oh, let's see. This is definitely above Ford v Ferrari and Parasite for me. So I'm really drawing a blank on what the other
Other Marriage
I'll
Story?
pull them up. I'll pull 'em up.
Marriage Story. Oh
is
no,
on there.
Marriage
Yep.
Story I like better than this.
Yeah.
So that knocks it out of the top 4. And then Irishman.
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 Yeah,
I mean,
the
yeah.
Irishman. Yeah. Oh man, it's hard. This one's really good. The problem is they're all so good, and they're all, like I said, ranked between 3.5 and 4 stars so far. So it's really
Yeah.
hard. But I mean, I would say, this one does fall, I guess, a little bit further down, just because I can relate a little bit more to like
Oh,
Irishman.
Jojo Rabbit's in there?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Dang, it's hard. It's like I hate to knock it down just because it is good, but I do like those other movies better. And
Yeah.
that might also be because while I can still relate to Little Women a little bit, I think it'd definitely be more impactful if I was myself a woman who had grown up with some of the issues
and I'm
of
actually,
young
to-
girlhood into adulthood.
To speak
but
to that issue too, Sean, you were saying that Amelia and your sister-in-law
Yep.
went and saw. So your wife and your and her
And
sister
mother-in-law, yeah.
and mother-in-law, they
Yep.
all went and saw this.
All the Little Women went and saw.
The Little Women went and saw it, but they
Yep.
were not too impressed, and they actually thought a better version.
They
was
actually
the
she
Winona
actually
Ryder
said
version.
the Winona Ryder, the 90s
94.
version was better in her opinion.
and that
But if she would have seen that, it would have been a long time ago. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe if she rewatched that, then
Maybe
after
not
seeing this one,
think.
she
it
might
could be
not,
a
I don't know.
nostalgia thing. I mean,
Your taste changes the
Yeah.
older you get. I mean, it
Right.
just does.
but it's
Your-
also when you grow up with something, if
Yeah.
that movie's close to your heart,
she's read the book
yeah.
and all of that, and
It-
she
it's
loves
hard-
the book.
I would
so-
say if you saw it one way when you were younger, and that's how you remember it, you kind of
that
connect
nostalgia
that type of,
makes
right.
it makes
Yeah,
it hard.
exactly.
Whereas with me, I don't have like that emotional connection with the '90s version. But I said, with my opinion was with the '90s version, and so many period pieces in the '90s feel like 90s movies. They feel dated.
Yeah, they do.
They feel like products of their time. And I felt like almost every version of Little Women feels like a product of its time, except for this one. I felt like this one actually felt more timeless. It felt like at any point in history, you could go back, watch this movie, and feel like it was something that took place in the 1800s. And to me, that's already an automatic plus. Like when you give off that sense that, yes, this is a story about people living during the Civil War time, but it's relatable to any day and age because they're going through things we all face throughout
Right.
our lives, no matter what time period. So,
Right.
I mean, I like that.
Which again, that's what it epitomizes it as a Best Picture,
Yes.
nomination. But that's the thing. So 3.5 out of 4 stars for Little Women. Absolutely, again.
and it deserves
worthwhile.
the acting noms.
Oh, absolutely.
Florence Pugh.
When you
Pugh,
mentioned Meryl
yeah.
Streep,
well,
and
she's not nominated.
not nominated, but
Yeah.
still, you got a heavy hitter in there like
Florence
her.
Pugh and Saoirse Ronan are the only 2 nominated, and they definitely are the 2 standouts.
What's another movie that Greta's directed besides Lady Bird and this?
I don't know.
I
Is
don't
that the only
think
two?
so.
think
So
there's any.
she's
kind of like
relatively
a
new on the block.
Tarantino, where
2
she
for
likes
2?
the same actors
Yeah.
or actresses.
I think
because her and
everybody's like
Saoirse
that.
Ronan
I mean,
is,
Martin
you know-
Scorsese has his.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's
Spielberg.
just interesting how some of the
changes it.
directors they kind of get stuck on an actor and want
Well,
to
I
keep
think
using them
you
in their
develop
movies.
like a working relationship, and you
Yeah,
develop a
yeah.
rapport
And if
with
the,
each
if
other.
the direction's good, you
Yeah.
can make people forget that that's the same girl from Lady Bird.
Exactly.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
if it's done well.
She is. I thought Saoirse Ronan is fantastic. It's so much so that it's making it hard for me to really pick like my best pick in like the some of these categories because
Yeah.
I mean even Florence Pugh was phenomenal. Meryl Streep, honestly, I mean she gets nominated all the time and is always great. But there's been a few years here and there where I felt like it's like, oh, they just nominated her because she's Meryl Streep.
Right.
This one, like, she didn't get the nom, but if she
Yeah.
had, I would have been like, no, she deserved it.
So
I
actually,
thought
looking
she
back,
was-
you would see it as kind of maybe an upset that she didn't get a nom versus some of the other ones we were
Here-
talking
here's,
about.
here's the problem, though, is like everyone on there, like the only one I haven't seen yet is Bombshell, so I can't attest to whether they deserve theirs. But
Mhm.
I mean, so far, all the others, it's like, well, it'd be hard to knock one of them out and put Meryl Streep in there because
Right.
they all deserve it.
Right.
So
But the thing is too, I think with something like this, we also have seen that none of the Best Picture noms have fallen into that category of being lower tier, where
Yeah.
we've
No, yeah.
constantly always had,
Yeah.
whether it was 5 or 9 films, or even I think we had a year where there were 8 Best Picture noms.
Yeah.
There can only be up to 10, but it didn't have to be 10. But there was always like an upper tier and a lower tier. And we've all agreed that this year the picks have relatively been across the board
Yeah.
worthwhile seeing.
Really, like he
And-
said,
and
Ford v
fantastic
Ferrari
picks.
is the only one for me that I'll be upset if it wins.
Oh, and there's no doubt.
It's not going to.
gonna
That's
win.
the only one.
It's
And I haven't
hands
seen
down, it's not
Parasite
gonna
or
win.
Little Women yet. So, but
I mean,
I just don't see that one. But if that one got anything, I would just be like, that's just crazy.
man,
Matt
I don't know.
Damon's
I'd really have to look
sleeping with
through the
somebody.
categories again because honestly, this is a year where so many of the nominees, I'm like, man, you deserve to win, but only one person can. So,
Right.
I mean, a great year, I think.
Absolutely. All right, so check out Little Women if you can before Oscars on
Yeah.
February 9th.
AMC's actually hosting a thing
Oh,
on the
yes.
on the 8th, which is the weekend before, and
That's
I
the
think
day before the
The
Oscars,
second
yeah.
of the 8th, it's this weekend and next weekend where you could watch all the Best Picture nominees. They're going to have like I guess the first 4 or 5 one weekend, and then the last 4 or 5 the next weekend. If you were willing to go to AMC and binge all these movies, but
well,
yes, they're
and not
gonna
only that,
show
but
all
they've
of
even
them.
got selections for best short film, the best animated short
yeah.
films, all the best foreign
They're doing like
language shorts.
whole thing where
You can see all the
all the
Oscar
nominees,
nominees, which is
which,
fantastic.
Yeah, I mean that's a huge marketing thing for
Yeah.
them. To be honest with you, when AMC has been doing, they did the same thing with the Marvel films. They showed all of the movies, nonstop. Like I love it when a theater does that because not many of them do,
Right.
and that just draws people to the theater.
Well, it's funny because
and just gives them that experience. And,
Right.
and you only pay for like one ticket, right? You don't.
Right.
You're not paying for.
I think
Well,
it's,
it depends.
it's
I
a
think
higher
it's-
price ticket.
Yeah,
It's
but
like,
if it's $30 or $40, you're still seeing.
But it also
23
depends. Like if
movies.
you're doing short films, then you're just paying
Oh,
to see
yeah,
all
yeah,
the
yeah,
shorts.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's one ticket price.
I mean,
I
I
think what's
saw all
cool
the
is-
Oscar noms, and I didn't go to AMC.
Oh,
for
where did
all
you
of it,
go?
so-
Mm.
I mean, DVD screeners are a thing, and sometimes you're just privileged and you get a hold of screeners.
Well, you're just saying we here at the Red Moon
We're
Podcast
that legit.
are
We
so
get-
legitimate.
we get
DVD
screeners.
screeners
Yeah.
for the
They're
Oscars.
sent to us. Yeah.
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 They're sent to us.
when you're
Yeah.
But the thing is I think it is cool because often, like you were talking about AMC doing this. Typically, what they do is they award it after the Best Picture has been announced, and then they push another film back into theaters and kind of give it a second run.
Right.
So it's nice for them to kind of put film ahead of itself, and if they've got enough people that are willing to see it, and it's not wide, nationwide at every single AMC theater, but at a lot of major ones, you can go and see these films, and it's nice to know they're supporting film and to be able to see it before the Oscars if you're really a film fanatic.
That's right. Get people off the couch and get them in a theater.
That's right. That's right.
Get off the couch, and then go sit your butt somewhere else. You can get fat anywhere.
Well, you wait.
going?
I mean, theater. They already recline. You watch. Now they're going to switch to couches in about 5 years. I mean, we're
I
getting
think
closer.
one day
to
they're going to have like a remote. It doesn't do anything. It's just a remote.
One day
control
we're
that
just
sits
all
by
gonna-
you, and you can
I think
pretend like you're holding.
One day
it.
we're just all going to
It's
be in
feel
those
like
little
you're at home.
Wally chairs is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be VR, and we'll just be in the theaters in
Fat,
our fat Wally
like
chairs.
huge-
Yeah.
That's true.
It's going to happen.
It's coming.
roly-polies.
All right, let's switch some gears and head to headline. That was terrible. I got tongue tied.
Gosh, sound like Greta Thunberg.
Oh gosh. No, all right, we're going to talk about headlines. We could kind of throw some punches at Netflix again. They're back in the headlines.
Well,
almost like they are every
always,
week.
yeah.
They're kind of the new movie
And
pass.
they're shuffling some things, and I think what they're doing this time actually makes some sense. So
Well, but I was going to say, we're not going to focus on them this week. Instead, one of our headlines focused on Bambi receiving
all the live action Bambi.
a live action
Well,
remake.
if you notice, they abandoned, like, after all the stuff with Lion King and everybody making fun of
Are they
it.
finally calling it animated?
No, they abandoned the live action. Now it's photorealistic.
Oh,
It's going to be the
gosh.
photorealistic remake of because now they're going to look real, even though it's not live action.
So then we could just have a whole new Oscar
know that.
category.
yeah, for photorealistic films,
and they'll be the only ones that win. That makes sense.
So yeah,
let's
it's
do
the
that.
photorealistic Bambi. We could see his mom get shot, and it looks just that much more devastating.
Yeah.
I was gonna say this is going to terrorize.
It's
kids.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
here, children.
I mean-
let's watch a real deer get
I'm just
shot.
thinking seriously. Could you imagine a photorealistic Little Mermaid? Like Ursula would be like, what's that?
Well, it's still live
Cthulhu
action.
or
Yeah.
whatever it's called.
Yeah, but that's
It'd be
what live
freaking
action
scary
aims
looking.
to be is
That'd be
photorealistic.
terrible.
but we're gonna see it.
Terrified
Little
children.
Mermaid.
We're getting a live action Little Mermaid,
I
so
hope
that's going
we
to
do.
happen.
I was gonna say it's coming.
Yeah.
And the thing is it's not. Yeah, it's gonna be live action mixed with tons of CGI, which
Yeah.
we already have. The problem with these, that's why I love the fact that wasn't it the isn't it
Golden
for the
Globes
Oscars too?
No, Lion King doesn't have any type of
Oh,
nomination.
good,
It only
good.
has, I think, a best song. Well,
That's
no,
right.
That got
No,
snubbed too.
Beyonce. No, Beyonce got it for. I thought she got the
The Lion King
Oscar
song.
nom. Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
I thought. I
look,
thought.
check me on that.
I'm gonna check.
Gosh.
I think it was just special effects it was nominated for.
Which is funny that it's special effects.
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
a live action film
Yeah.
that is all
well,
animated.
live action films have special effects.
Yeah, but not.
Yeah,
not
it didn't.
the
Golden
entire
Globes
film.
gave it best animated film, which I thought was hilarious.
I
It's
do
like
too.
good on you all because
It's
not-
true.
it's not live action.
So that's the big question now. The big question is, for one, that was in the headlines this week because that was the most recent news about Disney doing another live action is with Bambi.
Yeah.
But the real question is we also had an article, I think it was just last week, about Pinocchio
Yeah.
being
Robert
done live
Zemeckis.
action.
Yeah.
Robert Zemeckis is directing that.
now in line to direct Pinocchio.
So my question to you all, is there any hope for Disney live action?
Well,
We've talked about this before.
They're kind of 50-50 right now, and so far it looks like that's how they're going to stay. Mulan looks like it might actually be good. I have no faith in a photorealistic Bambi. I feel like it's going to be
No.
just like Lion King.
Lady and the Tramp
but
was
yeah,
freaking
Lady and the Tramp
abysmal.
was terrible.
Yeah.
But Robert Zemeckis could make a good Pinocchio.
No,
so
wait a
it's
sec.
like
Wait a sec.
we're still
They
hit and miss here.
Clearly used Lady and the Tramp to just pull in people to Disney Plus.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
that was
yeah.
all it was. So
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
were not pushing hard.
It
for
was
Lady and
not
the Tramp.
the CGI looked like the Call of the Wild trailers.
Yeah.
Like it just the dogs did not look real. It's awful. I'm
We
like,
need a. That's what we
It's
need
just
on our
me and
board.
you, Buck. It looks
We need
terrible.
that on our board right there. Is Harrison Ford
Harrison
saying that?
Ford, yes.
Yep.
But I can't help but think with these two movies coming out, Pinocchio could be a little more interesting because
Yeah.
we still have Mulan on the forefront, which actually looks to be
I think
a
Pinocchio,
promising film.
Yeah, Pinocchio could be a great live action film.
And to me, I see Mulan and Pinocchio kind of fitting in that realm of it can be done if it's taken
yeah,
with care and devotion.
technically any of them can be done if they were done with care and devotion.
True, but then again, the question still remains in that regard:
Should they be? Yeah.
And now that we've seen what they do with their live actions, such as Dumbo, such as Lion King. Now, granted, Dumbo got poor reviews. A lot of people hated it.
Dumbo
they
was
trashed it.
awful.
It was awful. Lion King got mixed reviews because you had people who loved the fact that it was practically a shot-for-shot remake. But the question is now with these, we know they're not going to stop. We already knew that back when we were trashing Dumbo and Lion King. Is there any hope, though, that you all can see with these new live-action films that are coming out? I mean, are you all looking forward to any of these? Mulan is the only one that's given me any kind of an inkling that they can still pull this off. But it depends on the source material. And if you pick the right story, such as a Hercules, Hercules could be an amazing live-action story.
Yeah,
Atlantis, which
Planet.
was a subpart. Treasure
I think
Planet.
Treasure Planet would be like that. Would just be amazing if done right live action.
Yes, absolutely agree. So really, it does. It just depends on the source material.
I'd like to see a good Peter Pan. Like,
Actually,
I
yeah.
really think they could do that. Well, I mean, Hook was such a good movie.
Mhm.
Like, I know people dog that movie all the time, but I really think that was a great family movie, and it was fun. It had a good story. Robin Williams is hilarious. You know,
See, you're gonna be mad at me.
you don't like it?
No, I liked Hook, but
Okay.
I also liked another Peter Pan film.
Finding Neverland.
I liked Finding
Yeah.
Neverland.
Okay,
And it's not
that's
Peter
different.
Pan.
That's
different.
different. But
It
that is a
is.
great movie. I
Yeah.
do love Finding Neverland.
And Hook is a different movie, you know.
Right.
But I would just that world, that idea, to see that brought to life in photorealistic, whatever, like that. I would like to see that one.
But again, that's
They
not
said they were
something-
going to a long
all the
ti-
ones we picked have human,
Yeah.
Well,
I was
human
gonna
bodies.
say
It's
the
like
one I
we're
wanna
not
see-
picking women, just
The crocodile
animals.
is the only, and the fairy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Tinkerbell.
I was like,
that's
the one
only-
I want to see most that they announced years ago they were going to turn into a live action series and still haven't done yet is Black Cauldron. Because it's based on a 5-book series, and if they took that and gave it an actual really good, because the animated film had like too many hands in the pot. They kept
cauldron?
basically, yeah. And they just it got torn apart and turned into garbage. But if they actually took the source material and were faithful and made like a 5-movie series based on the books, that could be something very epic for Disney. But well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's the ball's in their court on that one.
But right now, all they're doing is trying to pick all the Renaissance.
They're trying to pick the ones that are
films and-
because that one did poorly. They're like they
Yeah.
kind of shoved it off like the black sheep,
Yeah.
the Black Cauldron. But it's just it could be. They should take the ones like that weren't that good,
Right.
and make something great of them rather than taking the classics
Yeah.
that nobody
Agreed.
cares if you
Well,
remake or not.
And well, I was gonna say that they're touching on things that are already so special to so many people, and it's like, why are you continuing to try to shove these films down our throat when
Yep.
we already like these films the way they? I mean, and I understand them trying to introduce it into a new generation. You know, I know we beat that dead horse before,
Yeah.
but it's still annoying to see that they're picking these classics that they think are only going to be accepted
Yeah.
because that's the ones that a majority
I
of people
would much
know.
rather them just redo the original film, like go through it, clean it up, get some of the, I mean, even in the.
Are you talking about George Lucas doing?
No, not adding stuff to it. I'm just talking about going
You
through
never
and
know.
vamping up the colors a little bit, making it look a little bit smoother. You know, Pinocchio has dust, like you can see dust on the slides
the
or whatever.
film?
Yeah, on the film or whatever it is. And I mean, it's just like if you could go back and just kind of clean it up and
Just a
put it up in-
restoration.
restore it, put it up
well,
in 4K.
supposedly
If
all
they
the
would just
4K
do that-
releases are supposed to be restored.
All the ones on Disney Plus look fantastic, but
Yeah.
I'm just like, if you put that back out in theaters and let someone go see the
Yeah.
real Lion King and get them excited about that instead of pumping hundreds of millions of dollars into this flop. Well, it's not a flop box office wise; it's a flop
I mean,
critically.
that's the biggest problem we
Like,
face is that people are going.
People are going to see
people
it.
want
I know.
to see
They're
these
both,
films.
that and Aladdin
I
were
mean,
both billion-dollar movies.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Like,
as long as they
Aladdin
make,
God,
as long
was
as they make
another
money,
terrible
Disney's
movie.
gonna
they're
do
wasting
it.
their money.
So then, why are people? That's all right. We need to throw this out there to our listeners. Why are you going to see these movies? And I know they're going to
Why
say,
do
"Well, I
people
like
go?
'em."
Why do people go see Transformers? Somebody out there is entertained by it, and rather than be like,
It's a popcorn flick.
I don't. It's yeah.
I know one girl that'll throw money down on a Transformer.
yeah.
Well, I think we all
Yeah.
know who that is,
Yeah.
and yet and the thing is, she
Boyd.
sticks to her guns.
Yeah.
And it's like she loves them regardless, and that's the thing. I love the originals.
I just
so
enjoy
much.
Mark Wahlberg. I think I found a Transformer. Oh,
He
man.
could have taken it far. He could have been the next Witwicky. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's so odd that he could be in
could've.
really good movies and then also be terrible in really bad movies. It's like,
I think anything where he's PG or G rated, he's terrible.
yes,
Yeah.
He's got to be. I mean, he sounds too. It's like
he doesn't know how to be a nice to be
No.
like a a decent person, I guess. I don't know. Like,
Decent person.
I'm trying not to because I mean he doesn't seem like he doesn't come off like a bad guy, but he just
No.
can't play like
No, he can't play like a decent
I don't know,
human.
the other
without
guys
being
are
like a
decent
jerk.
human.
the other guys was good, but I mean
Yeah.
that played on the
That's
fact that
funny, yeah.
he's not the best
Yeah.
of like
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he
so-
still has he's still a prick.
oh
But it's
yeah.
like no, I think at the end of the day, we obviously know Disney is going to continue the live action,
Mhm.
no doubt. I am still going to clamor the hardest I can to try to convince, with as many listeners and viewers as we get here, to say let's petition Disney to do live action films that we actually want to see that would be good and resurrect some kind of. I mean, think about it. I could see literally them doing like what they did with Pirates of the Caribbean,
yeah.
based off of a ride at their park.
Yeah.
They made a huge franchise on it, ran that
Well,
into
they,
the ground.
they tried to do
Yep.
that with other rides, and they all fell.
They
The
failed,
Haunted
but
Mansion,
here-
Tomorrowland.
True, they did.
Um,
But the thing is I'm sitting here
Jungle
thinking,
Cruise is supposed to be
you
coming
could
out soon.
think about it. Treasure Island.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jungle Cruise's got Dwayne Johnson.
yeah, The
and,
Rock.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
gosh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
know
It's
this.
gonna be fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
The
Wow.
Rock can do no wrong.
Anything with the rocks in it's
Yeah.
automatically entertaining, no matter whether it's
That's
good or
true.
bad.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you've got Treasure Planet,
Yeah.
Atlantis, Hercules. Even Hercules, you could go. You know how many freaking Greek myth stories you could tell with that
yeah.
one character? You could go down so many roads and start so many new franchises than just try to hit on the ones that people already know and love from their childhood. And most of the time, even when you're bringing up a kid, you're not going to show them the Disney version of the live-action Lion King.
Yeah.
You're going to show them the cartoon.
Yeah.
And I know
You
they'll
might
sit
show
there
them
and
the live
say,
action one after they've seen the original, but if I'm showing my kid a movie for the first time, I'm
You're
be
gonna
like,
show
let's
them-
show you
Exactly.
the Beyonce Lion King. No.
No, exactly. So at the end of the day, it's that terrible, isn't it?
It is. It is. Both of those movies were terrible. Aladdin and The Lion King were just. I don't even.
I don't know. Dumbo is worse than both of them, but
Oh yeah. We
Let's
we
get
forgot
ready
to
to
mention
Dumbo.
Well, hold on. No, I
Wow,
mentioned.
he
Yeah,
mentioned
let's
it.
get
Did you
ready
mention
to.
that. That one's
he did. He
that is
mentioned
the
it.
worst.
But here's the no. I would rank them. Dumbo as the worst, then Aladdin, then I would say Lion King
Yeah.
in that order.
And the only
from
chops you
worst
can
to
give
best.
Lion King are the photorealistic images.
and not just the
Well, the fact
photorealistic.
that it was almost word for
It
word.
was the exact
Oh,
same
yeah.
movie.
They were just repeating the scripts,
Yeah.
but with less life in them than the actual
Yeah,
voice
and-
actors from
and
the
bad
original movie.
punchlines.
Yeah, and
Oh.
honestly, it was a terrible movie. I mean,
Yeah.
the acting is poor. It
Oh,
doesn't.
yeah.
It doesn't even add the same effect.
Yeah.
and
Be
the same
Prepared was
gut punch.
terrible.
Oh,
Man.
awful version of that. Just all around terrible movie. All right, I think we beat this dead horse enough. The
We
fact
said
is,
well, eventually they're going to run out of animated movie because they have like I think it's probably about around 60.
You know
in
what they're
arsenal,
gonna do?
but they're making them so fast that
no,
they're going to
Lilo and
eventually burn
Stitch.
through them.
no, what
They're
they're going to
doing
do
a
is they're
Lilo
going to
and
take
Stitch,
their
too.
live action films and make them animated.
Again.
do CG. They're going to go
Yes.
from like the 2D animated films to live action to CG animated.
That's right.
It's like it's the CG animated Lilo and Stitch based
Wow.
on the live action version, based on the
Yeah.
2D version.
I agree completely with one of our viewers. that
Oh,
just
what do
said
they say?
Disney should just stop.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Completely agree. Thank
How
God
about-
we
how
have
about
that
some,
listener.
How about some originality?
That's right.
What is originality?
Well, yeah, we've talked about that too.
Well, we
Okay.
already see that Disney Plus isn't delivering in that regard, so we'll see. But they just love the classics. That's the only reason people are tuning in.
Mhm.
Mandalorian's done. A lot of subscriptions fell
Well,
off.
that's why they're
Just
that's why
saying.
they're shuffling through trying to put more originals in 2020 than
Yeah.
what was originally scheduled. So
Yeah.
It makes sense. So they're trying, but we'll see what they can do.
well, even
We'll see.
Netflix, learn you can't go off just your originals alone. You have to. So we'll see.
It's all about the service too.
Let's see what happens.
Alrighty, so I guess now we're blowing through this, but I think we're ready for our
Okay.
unique weekly segment.
I
Are y'all
think we
ready?
could go there.
Go
Y'all
it.
ready to talk
Do it.
talk about some vices?
Vice.
Oh, I almost landed it. I almost
Yeah.
vices.
That's really good.
Thank you. I worked about 5 hours.
I
on
think you
that.
failed.
We need to get John Cena to say that for us.
Vices.
We were watching the new Super Bowl commercial
He's
Yeah.
in.
with John Cena.
Wait, have you seen that he's in
Experian commercial.
F9?
Yeah.
Oh,
in-
yeah.
in-
I mean, but
Yeah.
did y'all see his poster come
Yeah,
out
yeah,
this week?
yeah.
Oh
yeah.
man.
I've known he's been.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying.
because
it-
The Rock's not in it because they did the
Oh.
spinoff. So
Yeah.
Not
John
only
Cena's
that,
in
but
it.
they're ticked. Yeah. And Tyrese is gonna have another wrestler to get mad at.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
John Cena's gonna get bigger
Well,
than
he's
him
probably
too.
using that to rub in The Rock's face. Like, that's why you're not into this new movie, and we have John Cena. And then when John Cena becomes bigger than him, just like The Rock, he's going to be like, well, screw you too, John Cena.
It's all
I
he's got.
saw Tyrese.
All he's got is
Tyrese
Fast Furious.
Gibson.
his most recent movie, that Black and Blue movie or Blue
Oh,
and Black or whatever it's
yeah,
called.
Terrible.
Terrible movie, and he is. I don't know.
He's
he
a
needs
terrible
to quit.
actor.
Yeah, he needs to quit. He should retire.
Hey, he will always be welcome in the Fast franchise. And honestly,
Honestly, yeah. He's
I'm okay with
entertaining.
him.
had
I'm
him-
okay with him
We
in the
had him
Fast
on the
franchise.
podcast years ago, didn't
Yeah.
we?
Yeah, we
Years-
did. He
years
did.
ago.
He did a review. Was it?
He did.
Was it Fast 5 or no? It was Fast 6 or 7.
It was 7.
7.
It was 7.
It was 7.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Tyrese
He didn't
came
do
on here.
Fate, yeah.
Yeah,
From
but
his own mouth.
from his own mouth.
mouth.
Go back and take a listen to that because
Vroom, vroom, bitches. That was his quote, not mine.
that was. Look, we told him. He said, "Hey, you don't have to hold back, okay?"
That's right.
He could have got a little bit more rowdy, but he didn't.
He didn't.
Thanks to Tyrese, he kept it. He kept it cool
Kept
here.
it clean.
He
He
kept
did. He
somewhat.
kept it somewhat
For the
clean
family.
us.
So what's our
Kept it
vices
clean for the
segment?
family.
For the family.
No,
Brian.
so our vice actually Keith came up with our topic this week, which was a fantastic.
Did I?
Yeah, you did, and I give it to you, man.
What'd you come up with?
It's a great one. Go ahead and introduce.
Well,
it.
sometimes I have brain thoughts, and they're good.
In my head,
If-
movies.
In my head. I forgot about that.
Oh man.
I wanna
Some
watch
Tropic
that.
Thunder for you.
in my head
In my
movie.
head.
In my head movie.
Oh.
All right,
Okay.
go ahead.
If you could only live the rest of your life with only one vice,
Dun dun dun.
which vice would that be? Which vice could you not live without? Like, you only get the one.
What would it be, guys?
What would it be?
Sean already mentioned his.
Booze?
I'm not-
Yeah,
he's
that
not,
one.
you're not gonna say that
Booze?
one.
That was just a joke.
Stogies?
Okay.
Booze
Coffee?
or stogies?
Coffee?
Ooh, those are all good.
Quaaludes?
I mean,
Who
it's-
knows?
it's like- That's a really hard question to answer because
I
there's
know.
a
How do you pick
lot
between
of stuff
coffee or
that I could
Quaaludes?
live
I
without.
already know. I already know.
I'll tell you one, and it's only because I don't think that it will ever stop.
Oh.
Spoiling my kids.
Aw.
Oh, that was a cheesy
No,
one.
I'm serious though. Look, I could
Mine's a little bit
I could
non-traditional
give up
too, but not
coffee.
like
I
that.
could give up cigars. I could give up this podcast if I wanted to.
Damn,
man.
Sorry.
that was harsh.
I mean, below the belt.
Man,
You think?
I don't
Well, I
know.
mean,
There's a lot of stuff
I would
that I
hope you
could give up,
sacrifice things for your
but it's like
children.
I'm not going to quit like just giving my kids what they want.
Well, that's not
it's
always
just,
good.
It's not,
Yeah, that's
not in a
true.
bad way. It is a vice because
Uh.
sometimes I do it, too much. Sometimes I'm too
Too
easy on
yeah,
them.
spoiling the
Yeah,
children.
to spoil the children. But
True.
it's like, good lord, come on! If you can do it, do it. If you
I
can make your
guess.
kids happy,
I
do it.
guess.
Nike,
That
just
was-
do it.
Just
I was not
Kaepernicky.
expecting that. Just Kaepernick.
Just Kaepernick.
I honestly was not expecting that. That was not
was
a
sweet.
Yeah, a
it's
typical
not one I'm
answer.
willing to give up. but-
Okay.
Hmm.
What about you,
Hmm.
Key?
I thought maybe you'd go
I
next.
can go.
I'll
can
go. I actually have
I
one.
told y'all, and I'm not lying. I'm
Mm.
gluttonous. I'm fat,
Aw.
and I like food.
I mean, I do
And it's
like
if
food.
I had a vice, it would honestly be sweets. I could not give up sweets.
I think for you, it'd be
And-
like more specifically chocolate.
Oh, yeah, chocolate.
If someone told you like
See,
you can't
these
ever
are-
have like chocolate and peanut butter again, you would just shrivel up
That's
and
easy,
die.
though,
man.
Come on, give me
No.
something deeper
No,
than
that's
that.
not-
No,
okay.
You could give up
it's
sweets if you
called-
had
it's
to.
called if I had to, but if I didn't want to. This is something I
I don't know.
couldn't live without.
Brandon's pretty fat.
Thanks.
Damn.
Like
Thanks.
God.
Wow, this is a hard
you
hitting
know,
episode.
he likes them sweets.
But I mean, it's like gun to your
I
head.
mean, physically, I'm
which
bigger
one
than
will you give
but
up?
I
You're
don't
gonna say, I'm
enjoy
sorry,
and
shoot me.
sweets.
I like suckers.
You're
not-
No, I don't
oh.
like suckers.
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
want,
chocolate.
like he
Chocolate?
said, chocolate and
Okay.
peanut butter.
Yeah.
Reese's? You can't turn down a Reese's.
I like
See,
Reese's
I've
too,
never
but
been
I
a
so
can't
huge
turn
fan.
down.
good.
Like, I'm not a huge fan of sweets. For me, it's more like salty stuff or like I don't know, salsas and I don't know. But
But what?
I
But
could
that's
give
not
that up.
your. But
that's
that's
not
your
my
vice.
vice. No.
I'm
I can
telling you,
give up
man.
food.
Wait,
I
look,
don't-
okay. Shout out to Kristen, my next door neighbor Brian's wife.
Mhm.
Thank you.
peanut
She's
butter
my next
cheesecake.
door neighbor too. But
Mhm.
thank you, Kristen. You made us a peanut butter
She made
cheesecake.
meatloaf.
Meatloaf,
Meatloaf and
mashed
things
potatoes.
that I've never
It was
I've
insane.
never had before. Like
It was
Crazy mashed
insane.
potatoes.
And I'm like, this
Yukon mashed potatoes is what she
is
called it.
Yukon.
They're from the Yukon.
I don't know. They just seemed like mashed potatoes to me. I mean, they were fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but
She said they were Yukon potatoes. I don't even know what that means.
I took
But
her
it
word
sounds
for
special.
it.
they
It
were
was
good.
special.
They were good.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, like, shout out to her, that peanut butter cheesecake. Ugh,
That was amazing.
that's a vice. I knew right then and there when I took a bite of it, I said, I can't.
You can't stop.
Can't live without this. I need this in my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keith,
yeah.
your turn.
Vice.
Mine would be
you know.
books. Reading, like reading for leisure. Like, I mean, you obviously in life you have to
So
read
you could-
certain things.
Could
but,
you give up reading the Bible over reading for leisure?
Well, I mean, you're giving up reading the Bible for spoiling your kids, aren't you? So,
Ooh.
That's
You
saying
just
the
said
Bible's a
reading
vice.
for leisure. You said reading for leisure, though. I'm not.
well, that's like I said, that's a vice I don't
That's
want to give
different
up.
than
I don't
reading
consider.
reading the Bible a vice.
That's because that's not a.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't consider
Yeah.
like
He wasn't really-
educational reading's not a vice.
Okay.
me.
I'm sorry.
I mean, like it might be a vice for some
Jeez.
people out there that are like
this was like a
I gotta
way
learn
more
everything.
Like an
contentious.
atheist. It's like I got to read this Bible just so I can hate on it.
yeah,
Okay.
No,
That's
yeah.
a vice.
that's probably is a vice.
Okay. Go ahead. So reading.
Yeah, like
Just the
Can't
reading.
just- can't
But
give it up.
I'd be sad.
it's so weird because now I'm just trying
Life
to
would be
picture.
hollow. Well, most stories, like especially nowadays, like obviously it was word of mouth, but then after that would be like the written word, and for the longest time, I mean, the written word was
The
the only
written
way
word.
to spread any type of story or entertainment, or I mean, then
Yeah.
you had plays and such, but I mean, movies and video
Puppet
games
shows.
are relatively like I'm just saying movies and video games are relatively a new thing. I mean, we think about like our entire lives they've existed, but in the grand scheme of
now,
things,
now we just entered a new one. I
Oh.
don't know.
oh,
Would you give up
movies.
movies?
could you give up movies?
If it's between the two, I'd have.
I would pick books
Oh
over
my
movies, but that's just
gosh.
me.
Well, yeah, you of course, but I'm talking about movies or chocolate pie.
Oh Lord,
I
I could
don't
give
know.
up chocolate pie for Return of the King. Okay, it's like you can
that's
never
what
watch
hits
Return of the
me.
King again, or you can never have chocolate
Ah,
pie again.
But then you
Yeah.
get to the end of the Return of the King and you start crying and then you want to eat chocolate pie.
That's right.
You're
You
like,
just
I
want to
wanna
eat your
my
feels.
feelings. Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You
I-
bow to no one. Give me the
Uh,
chocolate pie.
Give me a Reese cup.
Yeah, you know, absolutely. For moments like that in film history,
Then you're like,
I couldn't give that up.
Lord of the Rings is our Little Women. Okay.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
true. I'm a hobbit at heart. I don't mind admitting it.
Okay.
Absolutely. I can't. Yeah. No, that is a vice I can't give up. Is watching
Film.
films.
Mm.
And in fact, I would even
Well,
beg
that
to say.
just seems to go right along with your career choice.
Well, how about that? Isn't that crazy?
Well,
By God.
holy cow turds.
Wow.
No, yeah, absolutely. That's my vice. I'm saying it now.
Movies.
Movies are my vice. I wish I had more time
Movies.
to enjoy that vice than I already do because
Yeah.
I'm spending it making all this stuff for you all. Just saying.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
I'd give up spoiling my kids for movies.
Ooh. Okay. Two of us take movies.
Yeah.
How
now
about
that I'm
that?
thinking about it.
I don't have kids yet, so I can't say.
You got two little cute dogs.
Yeah.
Would you give them up for
Facebook
movies?
loves them.
Man, no, I don't know. We'll see.
That's
hard. It's hard.
See.
They're not like living children. I mean, they're living obviously, but they're not human. So
Yeah.
you know, I'd feel worse about punting my niece off a cliff for a movie than I would my dog. So
Well, I wasn't talking about punting them off a
Yeah.
cliff. I'm just talking about
you
not
got to give
spoiling
them up.
them.
If you got to give them up entirely.
Oh well, no, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we're taking it to another
I was
level.
gonna say he's not giving up
Sophie's-
his children.
it's
He's giving up
Sophie's-
spoiling
them.
It's Sophie's children.
Yeah.
Or Sophie's choice.
Sophie's choice.
Sophie's choice.
I was about to ask. who
You can
Sophie's
have
children
movies
were.
or your children. Choose.
All right,
Well-
guys.
It's like, what if I just give up Last Jedi for my children? I could
Wow.
do that.
All right, we're done. We're done. All right, guys. Man,
Oh.
that was a pretty quick episode tonight.
That was
But you know what?
that's too fast.
We've got a lot of people out there watching us,
We do.
and they could be commenting in the comment threads.
They're great fans. They comment every
They
week.
are
They do, and they
commenting.
tune in, and I love that they're commenting. But they could also, if they
And
want to,
we try to answer it here and there.
yeah.
And, but
and sometimes we do
there's
it live.
one way we almost always answer.
You're hitting it.
If you don't comment, then you can always email us. 'Cause
What?
when you email us, we love getting emails, and we tend to every now and then we
No.
read emails at the end of the show. We haven't lately because you all aren't email.
Email us.
Send us an email.
But
so
where
we
would
can
they
read
send it to?
Oh man, Sean,
What is it? Is it on here?
I got really
Oh.
excited
Well,
about
it's funny because
telling
I'm
you
on
the email.
I'm on the wide shot, but Sean now
wide. RM Podcast at Red Moon Productions.
Now it's on there.
Oh, wait, this
Right
way.
there.
RM Podcast at redmoonproductions.com.
Now,
Oh, you ran off.
if they
I never get it right.
get on the interwebs and
The
put
Googles.
they put in that email address and type us a nice little note or letter.
I think we could get around to reading it on here.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, maybe.
Give us
We-
your thoughts, your ideas. We're
If
going to
we've
be
done-
going.
felt
We've done
like
it
it.
before, yeah.
I mean,
a couple times.
Next week will be
Yeah.
our Oscar picks, correct?
That's
Okay.
correct. We
So,
got
yeah,
a big
give us-
episode next
Give
week.
us your Oscar picks, and we'll see if if we agree with you or not. I mean,
That's
who
right.
knows?
Next week, huge episode right before the
Huge.
Oscars.
Huge.
Probably our next biggest episode next to the Oscar episode afterward,
Yeah.
where we give you our review of the show and if we agreed with the picks and the
Yeah.
winners. But next week, we will be giving you our Oscar picks, the ones we want to win and the ones that we think are going to win.
Mm.
So we've already kind of done a little bit of that a few episodes back, but this is official. These are locked
I
in.
mean, this will be like
and we do a competition every year to see who wins
Yep.
based on the picks
this.
that are
This
won,
is going to be
that
the
win.
first year I have seen every film with a major nomination. So
We try every year.
yeah,
we try
well,
every year.
We
to
try
find
every year
them,
to do the
but
best
sometimes-
pictures.
Yeah.
But this is beyond every film with a major nomination. I think there's like 4 I haven't seen yet, but I'm hoping by next Thursday I'll see them. And then I feel like I'll feel pretty confident in my picks, having actually for once seen all of them.
And
So,
I'm looking forward to catching up on a few that I haven't seen.
Yeah, you need to do
and
that,
running
man.
through some that I haven't.
You need to stay awake through 1917.
Yeah.
Sorry about
I got a
that.
screener of that right now.
And and it's
1080.
Yeah.
1080 screen.
Yeah, they released the 1080
nice.
screener,
Yeah,
and it's
it's
yeah.
nice.
looks much better. Looks but
Mhm.
not as good as it was in the theater.
No.
No,
Better for me because I don't have a blistering headache now. But yeah, I'll catch up. I'll make
Okay.
sure I'm ready for Oscar night and for my picks next week, definitely.
All
Good.
right.
So I
Good
think
on
that's
you.
going to wrap it up for this episode of the Red Moon Podcast.
I believe so.
That's right.
Okay.
So until next time, I am one of your hosts, Brandon Davidson, alongside our normal new host,
Sean Sebastian.
and
Keith Cheatham.
so until next time, we will see you at the movies. We did it! Oh my gosh!
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. For more reviews, previous podcast shows, and everything Red Moon, visit our website, redmoonproductions.com. You can also like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for Red Moon Productions, LLC. We'll see you at the movies.